It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. So, of course, you've heard all about it, the extreme heat warning in place for the Mississippi coast today, and we're expecting to see today be the worst of this entire heat wave that we've been dealing with for the last few days. So we'll cover what to expect regarding that. And this is a day that we kind of have to walk and chew gum at the same time because we're already dealing with that potential for dangerous heat. But we can't let our guard down on also the risk of street flooding from downpours that could occur later today. So we'll keep an eye out for a couple of different hazards, weather hazards, on your Wednesday in South Mississippi. So let's take a look at that map, which indicates where there's the risk for dangerous heat, and that would be pretty much anywhere in South Mississippi. We do have that heat advisory. And then there are a few places where it's even worse and it's upgraded to a heat warning. That does include Pearl River County, Hancock County, Harrison County, and Jackson County. That's where the heat warning is taking place. So whenever you have those types of conditions, it's going to be a dangerous thing if you're going to be out and about exposed to those conditions if you're not remembering to, of course, practice heat safety precautions. This is our fourth day in a row with hot weather alerts. We had a heat advisory on Sunday, heat advisory on Monday, heat advisory on Tuesday, and now we've got a heat advisory and a heat warning today on Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. Fortunately, I don't expect tomorrow to be a repeat. We're probably not going to see another day with hot weather alerts. This is it, but it's also the worst of it. And so that's why it's so important to pay attention to your body today if you're going to be out and about exposed to these conditions, because the heat index could get upwards of 110 in much of the area, especially down along the coast. This begins at 10 o'clock Wednesday and will conclude around 6 to 7 o'clock Wednesday p.m. And if there are some places that get rained on, then I guess that could bring a conclusion to the dangerous heat even earlier than 6 or 7 p.m. But not everyone will get rained on today, so there might be some places that avoid the raindrops and just get a face full of heat. Now, we are seeing that, of course, heat-related illnesses, when we say that, we're talking about heat stroke, we're talking about heat exhaustion, and there's an extreme risk of those today. If you're not remembering to do the common sense things like staying hydrated, on a day like today, you of course will drink a little bit more water than you usually do, right? You have to make an extra effort to stay hydrated on a day like today. And you also want to remember to take breaks in the shade. Don't be in that direct sun. Whatever you do, just try as hard as you can to get out of the sun. If you have to be in the sun, then take breaks in the shade. There's got to be shade somewhere. Find it and find a way to take a break in it. Don't just stay in the sun the whole day. You got to get out of that direct sunlight. One of the reasons why I mentioned this, I think yesterday, is that the heat index numbers that we tell you about, 110, 115, did you know that those are all assuming you are in the shade, and that if you're actually in the sun, it's worse? If you have one of those cars with the temperature reading on it, then you already know this. If your car is parked outside in a parking lot in the direct sun, when you start that car up, it's going to give you a really high number, as opposed to if you park your car underneath the shade of a tree or inside of a shaded covered garage or something like that. The number will be high on that thermometer in your car, but it won't be as bad as if you're in the sun. There's a few other moving parts there, including the fact that your car is a metal object, so metal conducts heat, or at least radiates and attracts heat, so it is going to make it even hotter than a non-metal object that had a thermometer on it. This is why a lot of times when you drive past those banks, you know, a bank sign like welcome to ABC Bank or something, but then it'll tell you the time, the date, and the temperature on the sign. A lot of times those signs read really hot readings because the thermometer is sitting inside of a metal pole that is supporting that sign. And so the sun is beaming down on that metal pole, and you're getting these, frankly, erroneous temperature readings because they're not really the way that we usually measure temperature. You usually measure temperature and heat index in the shade, not in the sun. So just an aside about that. Of course, it goes without saying, don't leave kids or pets unattended in vehicles. The temperatures can reach lethal values in minutes once a car's engine is turned off and a person or a pet or animal is inside of the car. It can become deadly very quickly in order of 5 to 15 minutes. So letting down the window is not enough. Just don't leave pets and kids unattended in the vehicle. I repeat, letting down the windows is not enough. That it is not going to make them safe. All right, so we talk about this heat warning. Last time we had one was last year, over 300 days ago, but last summer in August, mid-August, was the last time that the Mississippi coast had a heat warning, so this is not something we've never seen before. I've never said it's something we've never seen before. So, but for some reason when people get angry when we try to warn you about dangerously hot weather and we're trying to tell you to use safety precautions, and they're like, hey, this happens all the time. Indeed, it does. In fact, it was actually worse in 2023. You remember the summer of 2023 when we hit 107 degrees in Gulfport on the thermometer. It was the all-time record hottest temperature ever. The records go back to the 1800s. There has never been a day since the year 1893 with a hotter temperature than the summer of 2023. Ever. No day, no hour, no minute ever hotter than what we had 2 years ago when it hit 107. So, of course, yes, 2 years ago was worse. But is that going to do you any good? Like if you're standing outside in the sun today and you're telling yourself, oh, well, it was worse 2 years ago, so I don't have to drink any water. Oh, it was worse 2 years ago. No, of course not. It doesn't make it any less dangerous today just because it was worse a couple of years ago. So you still have to use those common sense heat safety precautions. No matter how bad it used to be, today is still a dangerous day. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at what's happening now. We're seeing reports of temperatures in the 80s across the area, and the heat index has actually already hit the upper 90s at the Moss Point Trent Lott Airport site there. You can see a heat index of about 102, not too far from that near Van Cleve. So some places already heating up pretty quickly for that heat index. And we take a look out the window. This is over in Hancock County, very cloudy by the Silver Slipper this morning. Clouds are a good thing when you're trying to fight off the heat. So I was happy to see these clouds suddenly roll in this morning, and I wish that we could keep them all day long. But if you look at some of these images, so now we're a little bit to the east of Hancock County and Gulfport, you can see a little glimmer of sunlight there, especially on the left side of the screen, where that's the eastern side of the screen. Then you take a look at Biloxi. This is the farthest east camera that we're going to be looking at. And the farther east you go, the kind of brighter the sky gets. Yeah, there's clouds overhead, but the sign is that if you go a little bit more to the east, you are going to start to see a little bit more sunshine. And we can confirm that with the satellite imagery here. This is a satellite loop from Wednesday morning. There was a cluster of showers and thunderstorms in the Gulf that was moving westward, and we got some of the clouds from that. We didn't get any of the rain or storms from it, but we got some of the clouds from that on the Mississippi coast this morning. But even though the majority of these clouds are out here in the Gulf, we're already starting to see, look at this, the sun's starting to come out in Jackson and George counties already. And so as this mass of clouds and rain continues to move westward, that's going to likely let the sun come back out over the Mississippi coast as we head into the rest of the day. So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to hold on to these clouds all day long. And I do think that we are going to see a return to some sunnier conditions, perhaps within the next hour or two. So 9 a.m. we're going on the cloudier side, but by 10 and 11 a.m. might begin to see a decrease in clouds across parts of the area. Notice that those temperatures hit the 90s by 10 or 11 o'clock this morning, and we'll see mid 90s around lunchtime, upper 90s in many areas heading into the afternoon. So that will be that time frame that will be the hottest part of the day, anytime between noon and 4 p.m. After 4 p.m., maybe we'll see more rain clouds developing, some scattered showers and storms, and that will be perhaps one way to finally fight off some of this heat. We can take a look at this rain chance and futurecast, and you can see that 20% rain chance this morning, so not much happening. But then as we go to the afternoon, we do see that 50% around noon or 1 p.m. and then that 60% around 3 or 4 p.m. So the later you go into the p.m. hours, the more likely we are going to see a few of those scattered showers and storms. Not everyone will see rain today, but hopefully it will be enough rain that some of you find some relief from the heat. So some p.m. scattered showers and storms. Meanwhile, the temperatures today make a run for the upper 90s, and the heat index will be expected to climb over 110. So this could be some of the worst stuff we've seen. This is because that heat dome is still sitting on top of us, but there is low pressure near Florida, and that will eventually move our way, helping to finally break this heat spell. But notice the numbers on the map, anywhere from the Lone Star State to parts of Mississippi, temperatures will be around 100 or maybe just a few degrees above or below that. But then look at Florida, not even hitting 90 in Tampa and Miami today. And the reason why is because they're looking at scattered showers and storms with that low pressure near Florida. This will eventually move westward into the Gulf, and the National Hurricane Center gives it a low chance of becoming a depression or storm. I'm not really concerned for tropical development as far as any kind of like storm impacts here. But as far as rain impacts, we are going to be expecting to see higher rain chances into Wednesday p.m. and Thursday and Friday as that low drifts westward across the Gulf Coast region. So that's a look at that upward trend in our rain chances. Today 50 to 60%, tomorrow and Friday in the 60 to 70% range. And first alert, there might be some places that get flooding. You can see this map showing the rain from now through the end of Friday, and the model projections indicate maybe there will be a spot or two that picks up more than 3 inches of rain. The color on the map is what I want to draw your attention to, and it looks like there's a yellow color in every county. The yellow color indicates rain amounts of around 1 inch. So I think it's a fair bet that most of us are going to see at least 1 inch of rain between now and the end of Friday. But then you can start to see that red color and then eventually that pinkish, purplish color, and that is an indication of rain amounts that are topping 3 inches, topping 4 inches, maybe even exceeding 5 inches of rain. And so those are places, you don't see that in every county, right? It's more isolated, but it does happen somewhere. And that's why we want to, keep an eye on this. I'm trying to give you the first alert about it. Inevitably, someone will be surprised when their street floods at some point over the next 3 days. But I fully suspect we'll see at least some isolated bouts of street flooding as we go into your Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Now, over the weekend, we are probably going to see a reduction in rain potential. So that is a good thing. We are not expecting to see the weekend quite as wet, but we could see some on and off scattered showers and storms Wednesday and Thursday or Friday. All 3 of those days, no 100% chance. So we're not guaranteeing everyone sees rain today, tomorrow, and Friday. There will be places that miss each day. Maybe today it hits Biloxi, maybe tomorrow it misses Biloxi and hits Saussure. And maybe Friday it comes back and hits Biloxi and misses Van Cleve or something like that. So that's the nature of the scattered showers and storms over the next 3 days. But just don't be caught off guard by the potential for that flooding risk. That's the last thing we'll cover here before we go, will be this flooding risk today. It's only a level 1 out of 4, so that means it's only going to be pretty isolated. The probability of seeing flooding is low, but it's not 0. You take a look at tomorrow, still seeing that same setup. And then you take a look at Friday, still seeing that level 1. It's very low, but not 0. And then finally we go to Saturday, and that allows us to finally take a sigh of relief there as the risk of flooding finally drops completely away with little to no risk. But just don't be caught off guard by that. Today, the potential for both dangerous heat and localized street flooding when we see some PM thunderstorms. And then tomorrow, no more dangerous heat. The temperatures should take a sharp drop, only a high in the upper 80s, lower 90s. And even though we'll see the temperatures take a drop from Thursday into the weekend, you look toward the end of the 7-day forecast and you actually see them rising right back up. So don't be surprised by that. Monday, Tuesday of next week might go right back to that sizzling heat across South Mississippi. Well, that'll do it for this Digital Desk Update. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. Thank you for waking up with Wesley. We'll see you again next time. Take care.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit